Laura Beth here. So this is your gentle flow and deep stretch class. I have 2 blocks here. It's okay if you have cork or if you have foam or if you have none at all, right? It's all good. We are listening to playlist Forest Fairy on Spotify. So if you want to go ahead and cue that up, that way you don't have to mess with it once you're down. And then from here, you're going to turn and face the front of your mat. And then find your blocks. Now ideally, this bottom block is kind of just below your thoracic spine. And then the top block is going to come behind the back of your head. And then from here, if it feels better for you to extend your legs out long, you absolutely can. If it's available and you want to take Supta Baddha Konasana, your supine butterfly pose, it's kind of like this, right? You could also bring your feet down to the ground, whatever feels better. I'm going to go for the supine butterfly pose and let my knees hang comfortably open. If you have a second set of blocks, you're more than welcome to slide them underneath your thighs. If you don't have blocks at all, then just lie down flat on the back and take the leg positioning of your choice. This is where we're going to set up and open and kind of ground down. So don't worry about making it perfect, just get there, right? It's all good, y'all. And you might get into a spot and then be like, that doesn't feel exactly like what I'm looking for. It's okay to move it around until you find your jams. Like actually that, what I just did, feels much better than where I had it. It was a micro movement of the bottom block. Now your hands could be out by the side, body palms facing up, or you could have one hand on your heart and one heart on your belly. If your chest is lifted, the hand on the heart is a little bit harder. So I'm just going to bring my hands down with my palms facing up, ready to receive. And then if you feel comfortable closing down your eyes, I invite you to do so. Otherwise, you can just gaze at a spot on the ceiling just above you. Maybe you set an intention for your practice. You start to breathe in and know that you're breathing in. You breathe out, and you know that you're breathing out. Breathe in. And out. As you inhale, you let your belly expand. Your rib cage will open. Your lungs go to full capacity. And on your exhale, let it all travel back down. Let the weight of that breath go. And then you don't inhale again until your lungs are completely empty. You're at the end of that exhale. And now you inhale again. Here for just a few more moments. start to wiggle your fingers. If you still have your knees open in your butterfly pose, you can take your hands down and maybe start to draw your knees back up so that your feet are flat on the ground. And reach your arms up. Maybe just kind of feel out your upper back. Even if you still have the blocks underneath you, it's okay. Awesome, y'all. And then take your time. If you have the blocks underneath you, bring your elbows and your forearms to the ground so that you can lift up for a moment. Slide them out from underneath you, but leave them close by because you're going to use them several times today. And then on your exhale, let your head, neck, shoulders, and spine come all the way back down to the ground, and let your bones kind of rest for a moment on your mat before doing anything else. And then on an inhale, reach your arms up overhead and extend your legs nice and long and take a full body stretch. Maybe roll out your wrists and your ankles. Wow, everything popped whenever I did that. Let your low back reach up and away from the mat. And then as you exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest for a moment. Relax your shoulders back and down. Now you can rock side to side, if that feels good. Kind of turn your face in the opposite direction from your knees and start to feel this spinal twist all the way from your cervical spine down to your lumbar spine. But it's a baby sensation to start, so we're not going deep. Then you'll come back into the center with your inhale. Slide your hands behind your thighs. Now taking some small or big spinal rocks and rolls, you kind of lift your hips and then you rock and roll forward and backward. Keep your navel pulled in towards your spine and keep your low back rounded so it doesn't slap against the mat as you move. And then on your last one, come forward, plant your hands down on the ground. And then slide back into your box pose. So stack your shoulders, your elbows, and your wrists. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Spread your fingers out wide. And if it feels okay, you're going to dial the eyes of your elbows forward towards the top of your mat. And then on your inhale, drop a soft belly down, lift your chin, lift your tail. And then as you exhale, just reverse the movement. Navel to your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tail. And then inhale, let your belly drop back down again. Lift your gaze. And exhale. Navel to your spine and really separate your shoulder blades. Now on your inhale, it's your last one, just like this. And then as you exhale, come right back to your cat pose. Now inhale, come into a neutral spine. So in Sanskrit, they call this sahaja. So it's this spontaneous like movement with your body, but it's not willy-nilly. It's more of like a you're getting direct feedback from your body and you're responding appropriately. So as you move into a space, maybe you start to roll through the shoulders, roll through the shoulder girdle, through your upper back. Maybe you wiggle or shimmy from side to side. This could also be complete undulations with the spine, maybe rolling forward, lifting, coming back, as long as it's not painful, right? Find just spontaneous movement here and use the intelligence of your body to move. Yeah. And then you'll come back into your neutral spine, your box pose. Take an inhale, curl up your toes. On your exhale, lift your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Let your heels kind of sink down towards the mat. Your chest presses in towards your thighs. You can turn your gaze from side to side. And ideally, as you do that, you'll be looking underneath your triceps, right? So you're still pressing deeply into the webbing between your thumb and your forefinger. You could walk your dog by pedaling out your feet. You inhale, roll to the balls of both feet. Exhale, drop the right heel down, lift the left. Inhale, roll up to both. Exhale, drop the left, lift the right. We're all going to meet with both heels down. Now as you inhale, bend your knees to look forward. And on the exhale, take as many steps as you need to bring your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale to your halfway lift. So the crown of your head goes forward, your tailbone back, your belly pulls in and up. And then exhale, take your chest to your thighs, drop the crown of your head down. And then maybe you grab opposite elbows with your hands and you sway side to side. Awesome. Enjoy where you're at here. You can have as deep of a bend in your knees as you need or want so that there's no tension in your low back and that you're releasing naturally through your hamstrings, right? And just keep breathing here for a moment. Allow for your brain to rest by dangling your head down and not making the neck work at all. You might even interlace your fingers around the base of your skull and gently draw down. Don't pull too hard. It's just a little bit of additional weight as your shoulders come away from your ears. And let your hands come down to the ground. On your inhale, halfway lift, tabletop your back. And as you exhale, bring your hands down and heel toe your feet together, chest to your thighs. Now on your inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Now lift your chest. Good. On your inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Now as you exhale, it's an open arm twist to the right. Your legs are straight, but take your right fingertips back, your left fingertips forward. You're going to notice that the right hip tries to pull back. But I want you to use your obliques on the right side to pull your right hip back forward. And then you inhale, come right back to center, stand up tall. And on the exhale, open arm twist to the left. Take your right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. We're just going to get into the spine a little bit. Notice how the left hip might try to pull back, but you're pulling it forward. And then you inhale, take both arms back to the sky. Exhale, your elbows back and down to lift your chest. And then you inhale, reach your arms up. On the exhale, drop your right hand down, lift your left arm up and over, and get a side body stretch through the left side. And then inhale, take both arms high. Exhale your left arm down, reach your right arm up and over. Really open up through the right side body. Relax your right shoulder and take your gaze up, maybe. One more time through with that whole little sequence right there. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, open arm twist to the right. Left fingertips forward, right fingertips back. Inhale, come back, front and center. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. Your right fingertips forward, your left fingertips back. Inhale, come back to the front of your mat. Exhale, your elbows back and down, lift your chest. Inhale, your arms to the sky. Exhale, your right arm down, your left arm reaches up and over. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, your left arm down, your right arm reaches up and over. Now inhale, come right back to standing. And on the exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. So your feet, it's okay if they come a little bit, maybe hip width distance apart. There can be some space between your feet. Roll your shoulders back and down, and then I want you to soften your knees. So you're not coming down into a full-on chair pose, but we are going to warm up the legs. Now from here, root down into your left foot. You got to pull your belly up. There's some buoyancy in your legs. On the inhale, we're going to bring your hands down by the side body, palms face forward, so it looks like this from the front. Now as you inhale, I want you to move really slowly. Lift your arms up to elbow height and lift your right knee at the same time. And then on the exhale, press your palms and your right foot forward. Inhale, draw your elbows and your right foot back in. Exhale, put your right foot down, press your palms down. Inhale, float your hands up, your left knee up. Exhale, press your left foot forward and your palms forward. Inhale to pull it all back in towards you. And then exhale to press the energy down. Inhale, float your right knee up, your palms up to elbow height. Exhale, press your right foot forward, your palms forward. Inhale to rebend everything. Exhale to step it down. Inhale, lift your left knee. Exhale, press your left foot forward, palms forward. Inhale to draw it in. Exhale to step it down. Inhale, right side. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left side. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do 2 more times each time. Inhale, right. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left. Last round, right. Left. Inhale, straighten your legs, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and drape your chest towards your thighs. Relax the crown of your head towards the ground. Roll your shoulders back and down. I'm going to have you grab your blocks. And then inhale, take a halfway lift. And on the exhale, bring your hands to the ground. Step your feet down to the earth and soften your knees down. You're going to come all the way down to your belly. All right, so from here, I'm going to have you actually just roll over to your right side and bend your knees like kind of, I want you to stack your hips. Now you're going to grab your block and bring it down to its lowest height. Slide it underneath, so when you find this space, it's a subscapular release here. So you're going to bring your right elbow down to the ground and essentially cradle your head. Now what you don't want is for the block to be pressing into your breast tissue or all the way up into the crease of your elbow, right? It's kind of, it's right there around your shoulder, your shoulder blade, right? So find that spot where it feels like you're getting a pressure point maybe, and you might have to move it around a little bit. I'm gonna have you roll kind of forward and backward until you find that spot, and then you can even keep massaging it. I would say to pull your low belly in slightly and keep your hips stacked if you can. And then just move around here and find a spot. And breathe. Awesome, y'all. Now, if you're here and you're like, I could totally do more than this, you could release your hand down to the ground and rest your temple down kind of onto your bicep or your shoulder. If you could still do a little bit more, like that right there got me a pretty good spot. You could bring your left hand down, come back up onto your elbow. You could lift your block so that you're higher. And then same thing, you're going to kind of roll forward and backward. Finding that spot. And stillness is what you need, right? So play with them both. Breathe through it. You can even close down your eyes. Ooh, there's the spot. Same thing, you could release your arm down and rest your head down, right? It's just going to give you a little bit more weight on your arm. So you're going to probably feel some more sensation in the right side body. Maybe just a couple more breaths here. Notice if you roll too far to the front and you're starting to feel it in the breast tissue, or if you inched your way into your armpit crease and try to back out of that. So this might feel tender, right? Especially if you're doing a lot of computer work or driving or carrying babies and grandbabies, right? So be gentle with yourself, but stay the course. All right, y'all. I'm gonna have you bring your left hand back down to the ground. Release your head. Bring your right forearm to the ground so that you can slide your block out from underneath you. Now, I forgot to mention, if you were using a book or something and it felt uncomfortable, you could drape a towel or a blanket on top of that. Now, keep your hips the same. I really want you to try to stack your left hip on top of the right. Now, drop your arms down like a number 11 towards the top of your mat. So this is a Sphinx pose variation. It's a twist, obviously, right, in your, probably like your middle thoracic spine. And you're spreading your fingers out wide. And gently try to pull your heart forward so that you're kind of drawing in between your upper arm bones. And you breathe. I'm drawing my low belly slightly inward to support my low back without overly engaging the abdominals, because that makes the twisting feel, it makes it harder, you know? Because you're firing up all of the muscle fibers and it kind of turns your muscles into like rope. So you want it to be a soft enough engagement to where the twisting is available, but enough engagement to where you are supporting your lumbar spine. Now if it feels all right, you could drape your chest all the way down to the ground and take your left ear to the mat and keep breathing. And if the left ear down on the mat is too much, you can take your right ear down. You'll notice that it's less of a twist. And then slowly, if you came all the way down, you're going to slide your hands back. If you're still in the forearms down on the ground, perfect. Bring your right arm, right shoulder down to the ground. So you're essentially in like a fetal pose. This is so that you can roll onto your back. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Relax your shoulders back and down. Keep your low back rooted into the earth. Breathe in and know that you're breathing in. And breathe out and know that you're breathing out. Take another inhale here. And on your exhale, bring your forehead up to your knees. Relax your shoulders back and down. And then let your head and your shoulders come down, your feet down to the earth. Grab your block. If you don't have one, it's okay. You're going to take a traditional bridge pose. On the inhale, lift your hips. Now, you want your block to be kind of like along that fleshy part of the top of your bottom, right? So you don't want to actually be touching any vertebra. of your back. And then just be here for a moment, settle in. And don't worry, we are going to flow a little bit with the legs, but just getting into the upper body to start with today and to start opening up the hips now. So what you could do is stay right here if you're like, this is perfect and I don't need anything else. This is where you stay. Otherwise, you're going to start to walk your feet out, perhaps. Keep the low part of the belly slightly drawn in so you're supporting your low back. But allow for your psoas and your hip flexors to open up towards the sky. You might feel like that slow arching of your low back. I'm going to try to kind of minimize that to some degree. And if you're here and you're like, I could go a little bit deeper, make sure that you acclimate first, but then you could rebend your knees, lift your hips. You could go to the second setting on your block. Relax your bottom back down, your low back down. And you could stay right here, or you could walk your feet out again. And breathe. Any point that starts to pull on your low back, you would bend your knees again and go down to the lower space, right? So make sure you can even walk your feet out a little bit wider than hip width distance. Keep your neck nice and long. And just really concentrate on your breath here. Notice the stuff that's happening in your body. But if you're finding yourself back in the throes of your mental monkey mind, you always come back to the breath. You breathe in and you know that you're breathing in. You breathe out and you know that you're breathing out. And you repeat that to yourself. You repeat that to yourself over and over until that's all you're thinking about. If you took your feet out, you're going to rebend your knees so that you can bring your feet down onto the ground. And then inhale to lift your hips, slide your block out from underneath you. And then exhale, let your hips come down to the ground. And now give yourself a moment of stillness before you start to move. And I'm going to have you rock your knees from side to side like a windshield wiper. And maybe even start to really feel some internal, external rotation of your thigh bone and the hip socket. Take one more round, even yourself out. Come back into center, hug your knees in towards your chest. If you need a happy baby, go for it, right? Might feel pretty intense after all of that. Awesome, y'all. And then just let your knees come back together. You're going to roll over to the left. So I'm going to rock up and come to the opposite end of my mat just because I want to be facing you. So you're going to roll over to the left side. And now we take our subscapular release on the left. So bend your knees, stack your hips. Come down onto your left elbow, your left forearm. Find your block. Start on the lowest setting. And find that spot, right? So drape your lateral rib down onto the block, walk your elbow out, and then find that space to where you're not on the left side breast tissue and you're also not all the way up into the crease of your elbow. And it might take a minute, right? It might take a couple of times of doing this to really find your spot. And then you can either be still. I roll around because I tend to roll and find a spot and kind of stay there for a second. And then sometimes it moves. Good. Just roll your yourself around, or be still and breathe into something that might be uncomfortable. Good. And then notice if thoughts pop into your head as you're doing this, right? I will be the first to tell you that yes, sometimes there is a correlation, there's a relationship between emotional things and things going on in your life and how your body shows up and what shows up in your practice. Also, sometimes you just have a biological anatomical injury, right? And there's no woo-woo, whatever, reasoning behind it, right? So notice and start to discern whenever, wow, there's no reason for me to have something going on right here. Like, I haven't injured myself, I haven't whatever. What's happening with me on the inside that's producing this? Or realize every time I go to sleep, I fall asleep with my right arm out with a 6-year-old lying on top of it, and so that is maybe why I have some issues in my right shoulder. That's the beauty of this practice. You get to explore yourself and be curious. That's all this is about. And remember, you've got the option to find stillness first and then extend your left arm out and drape your ear down. Or you can bring yourself up again onto your left forearm and lift your block up a little bit higher onto level 2. And then come back down. Ooh, that got it. And then again, rolling side to side. Make sure that you're not into your elbow crease. Oh man. And breathe. You can even release your left arm out if you're on the higher level. And breathe. So when you hit that uncomfortable spot, you breathe into it so that you can find some ease in something that's not easy, right? Try relaxing your brows and your jaw. Opening up your collarbones, breathing deeply. Just a couple more breaths here. Alright, y'all, let your right hand come down to the ground. Release your ear from your hand. Slide your block out from underneath you, so your left forearm's down. And then twisting towards the top of your mat, bring your forearms down like a number 11. Try to keep your hips stacked. Mine tend to kind of do some wonky stuff. And this side is definitely the side that whenever I twist into this side, it's a little bit more challenging, okay? Try to keep your neck long, released. Your forearms are in front of your elbows. And your wrists are in front of your forearms. You're more than welcome to slide like a pillow or a bolster underneath you here, long ways, so that the bottom edge of the bolster comes towards your left hip or thigh. If you need more support, right? You don't have to, but you can. And you breathe. Start to pull your heart in between your upper arm bones. Take your gaze towards your index fingers. So you don't want to look up and creak your neck. You want your neck to stay long and uncreased. Maybe this is the side where you can walk your arms forward. Maybe bend your elbows, bring your right ear down to the mat. If that's too much, that's pretty deep for me on this side, bring your left ear down to the mat. Breathe in. Know that you're breathing in. And breathe out. Know that you're breathing out. Few more breaths here. Now if you came all the way down, I'm going to have you bring your hands back so that you can gently press back up. Lift your right elbow. Come onto your left forearm so that then you can just slide down into your fetal position, right? Stay there for a moment. And then you'll roll onto your back. So I'm going to flip back over so we're all into the same direction. And then bring your knees in towards your chest. Relax your shoulders back and down. Maybe bring your forehead up to your knees. And then once more, a little bit of spinal rocking and rolling. Take 2 or 3 of these, and then you're going to lift up and then just face back towards the top of your mat in a box pose. Take your time. It's all good. Once you're there, all of your joints are stacked. You're in your tabletop. Knees underneath your hips and shoulders, wrists, elbows aligned. Switching it up a little bit this time. Take your right fingertips, turning them out towards the side edge of your mat, or flip them back towards your knee. Inhale, let a soft belly drop down to the ground, lift your chin. And then exhale, arch your upper back and stretch your right wrists. Inhale, come back into neutral. Flip your right fingertips back towards the top of your mat and switch sides. Your left fingers can point towards the side edge of your mat, or they can point all the way back towards your left knee. Inhale, soft belly down, cow pose. And exhale to your cat pose. Inhale back into your neutral spine. Now, leave your left hand as it is. Meet it with your right so that both hands are doing the same thing. Last round, inhale to a cow pose, excuse me. And exhale to your cat pose. Arch your upper back. Really feel the stretch through your wrists, maybe also through the fingers, the webbing, the forearm, the underside of the forearm. And then inhale, come back into a neutral spine. Flip your fingertips back towards the top of your mat. And then exhale, extend your right leg back behind you. Now use your inhale, dial your right pinky toe down and pull your low belly in and up. As you exhale, bring your right foot all the way forward. Lift your left knee and slide it back just a little bit. Now you could have hands on blocks to either side of your right leg if that feels better for you. You could also just have your hands down on the ground. It's all good. Now as you inhale, pull your heart forward, lift your chest, lift your gaze. On the exhale, shift it back, straighten your right leg and flex your right toes towards your shin. Inhale to walk yourself back forward, bend into your right knee. As you exhale, shift yourself back, straighten your right leg and flex your toes back towards your shin. Last round, inhale to come forward. Your right knee is tracking over the heel or the ankle, so make sure it's not jutting too far ahead. And then exhale, shift yourself back and straighten your right leg. Flex your toes back towards your shin. Be here for a moment. Think of lengthening your spine rather than rounding it. So it's more like your collarbones are opening towards your right ankle instead of the nose coming down towards the knee. Good. Now on your inhale, walk yourself back forward. As you exhale, I want you to lift your left toes and spin them towards the long edge of your mat, and then drop both hands down to the inside of your right foot. Now if you have your blocks, you're going to take both of them with you. Bend into your right knee. And so for starters, your blocks are just right here to the inside of your right foot, right? It's almost like it would be a modified side angle, for those of you that are familiar with that. But we're not going to stay here for too long. I do want you to just kind of feel the heating up of your right hip. Breathe into that. You're more than welcome to move your left arm around if you need it, right? But then from here, keep your right knee as it is. Walk your blocks over to the left a little bit. Walk your arms forward. Your hands can stay on your blocks. And then drape your chest down. Relax your shoulders back and down. Try to keep your right knee bent, and then just kind of watch your back foot too. Like the left foot might splay out a little bit for some balance. Just keep breathing and opening up through your right hip, through your chest. Maybe your forehead comes down to the ground, but I'm not worried about it. We've got just a couple more breaths here. One more inhale. And then slide yourself back as you exhale. Bring your hands to the ground. Lift your left toes. Pivot back onto your left knee so you're right back where you started. I'm going to slide the blocks out from underneath. Bring my right hand to the outside of my right foot and bring my right foot back. Sit my hips back towards my heels. And find a child's pose. Bring your forehead down to the ground. Relax your shoulders. On your inhale, press back up into your box pose. We're going to switch sides. On the exhale, extend your left leg long behind you. Use your inhale to dial your left pinky toe down. And then as you exhale, step your left foot forward. Lift your right knee and slide it back a little bit so that you have a diagonal line from your hip to your knee. And as you inhale, pull your heart forward. And as you exhale, shift yourself back, straighten your left leg and flex your toes. 2 more times. Inhale, lift your chest forward, lift your gaze. Exhale, shift yourself back, straighten your left leg, flex your left toes. Inhale to walk yourself forward, roll your shoulders back and down, open your collarbones. Exhale, shift yourself back and hold. Flex your left toes back towards your shin. Lengthen your spine. And think of your tailbone maybe moving towards the back of the mat, your heart forward. Breathe here. And then you inhale to walk yourself forward. Bend your left knee. Let it stack over your heel or your ankle. Exhale, lift your right toes and spin them towards the long edge of your mat. Keep the bend in your left knee. Now grab your blocks. They're right there to the inside of your left foot. So getting a hip opening. Take an inhale. And then start to walk yourself slightly towards the right. Just your upper body. Everything else stays the same. And then you might slide your arms forward and drape your chest down as you exhale. Good, y'all. Breathe. Just a couple more rounds of breath right here. One more inhale. And then slide your blocks back or your hands back. Lift your right toes, pivot them towards the back of your mat, and bring your hands back over to the top. Now, from here, left hand to the outside of your left foot. Step your left foot back to meet your right. Drape your hips towards your heels, but we're not staying for long. On your inhale, come right back up into your box pose. Now, grab your blocks, or your books, or whatever it is that you've got. You want them to come out, let's see, probably to opposite edges of your mat. And you're going to have to play around with this, but you're going to come down nice and slow. And I want you to drape your shoulders on top of your blocks. So hug them into the side body and rest your shoulders on top. And take your arms back with your palms facing up. You might have to kind of move around to find the spot. There we go. So on either side, you've got some kind of a support, and if you don't, it's fine. Just come all the way down to your belly, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. We are trying to roll the shoulders back and down. Let me move mine up a little bit more. There we go. Now if it feels good to be here and bend the knees and reach back and catch your ankles, feel free to do so if you have the quadricep flexibility, right, and warmth. You could slowly take your gaze just right here to the top of your mat without creaking your neck too high. And if your knees are starting to splay out, try to draw them back towards one another. Maybe using your spinal muscles, you lift your chest a little bit higher. Maybe you kick your feet into your hands and lift. Breathe. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. And then release your feet down. Bring your hands onto your blocks. And then as you inhale, pull your heart forward to lift it. Get my blocks that kind of slid. And then roll your shoulders back and down and lift your chest. Take one more inhale right here. Your low belly is pulled in and up. And then as you exhale, shift your hips back towards your heels. Leave your hands on your blocks and let your forehead come down. Relax your shoulders from your ears. And then from your child's pose, just lift your chest and slide your right arm underneath you, palm face up. And then drape your chest back down over your right arm. So you're threading the needle from child's pose. If it feels better from box pose, feel free to lift your hips. Completely exhale. And then inhale, slide your right arm out from underneath you. Reach your right arm back forward. And then exhale, take your left arm underneath you and drape your chest back onto your left arm. Your left palm is facing up. And your right arm is reaching forward. And close down your eyes. Gently slide your left arm out from underneath you. Press up into your box pose. Cross your feet at the ankles and extend your legs out long. So bring your blocks back up to the back of your mat again. You may or may not use them for Shavasana, so we'll get there in a moment. But extend your legs out long in front of you. Reach your arms out and up as you inhale. Fold over your thighs as you exhale. Relax your shoulders back and down. Drape your chest to the earth. Good, y'all. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here. And then slowly come back up. If you need something else before coming down into Shavasana, please feel free to do that. I do have a guided meditation for you today in your Shavasana. So if you would like to take the supported fish that we did earlier, your blocks go back down into that little T. If you feel like you're more open, you can go higher on the second block, right? But whatever you would like to do for your Shavasana, and if you need to take anything down on the ground, like a spinal twist or legs up the wall, please, y'all, you know, you're at home. Do what you need to do. But if you are ready, find that space. And I do invite you to move back into this supported fish if it feels appropriate to your body. Your feet can be down, knees bent towards the sky. You can be in your Supta Baddha Konasana. Your legs could be out long, right? So we've kind of moved through all of the different spaces of the body. So pick a spot that resonates with you, where you can lie still, maybe without fidgeting, you know, for the next few moments. Now when you get there, I want you to close your eyes, relax your brow. And take a full breath in through the nose. And just feel yourself get a little bit longer, wherever you are. And as you exhale through the nose, release your shoulders. Take a few moments with attention to the breath, settling into kind of a neutral wherever you are posture. Allow your belly to soften. And shift your shoulders kind of back and down ever so slightly. Then allow the back of your neck to be neutral and long. With complete awareness of your breath and posture, begin to intentionally generate a deep sensation of gratitude for the breath itself. As you watch, notice the breath moving in and out through the nose. Remember how precious this one breath is. And this next one too. Invite in the spaciousness of awe and wonder as you sit with the next 3 to 5 cycles of breath. And draw attention to your heart. Really take your focus there. Feel the heartbeat beat. Perhaps in the quietness and the stillness you can hear. Still aware of breath, but noticing and listening to the heart. Inviting in awareness of the miracle of the heartbeat as we sit with this noticing for 3 to 5 cycles of breath. And still aware of the breath and the heartbeat, draw awareness to the form of your human body. Here, functioning, breath breathing, heart beating. Noticing whatever it is that arises when we notice the unique fortune of our human birth. Here in this human body, you have everything you need to awaken. You have everything you need to find happiness, contentment, and joy within. There's infinite capacity within you. And there's infinite capacity of awareness and gratitude. Breath breathing, heart beating, a mind that can notice, understand, feel, and discern. A mind whose capacity for awareness, understanding, and growth is infinite. A mind whose capacity for noticing its true nature is right here, right now, in your hands, in your body. So smile on the breath. Smile on the heartbeat. Invite in love for this body and kindness towards this mind. Rest here knowing that you have everything you need. Resting in gratitude for it all. And as the mind with its infinite capacity tries to draw you away, keep coming back to the wonder of this one breath in, this one breath out. The magic of the heartbeat and the beauty in being here. So I want you to stay here as long as you want, as long as you can. Resting and breathing and being. There's no need to get up. There's no need to move right now. You'll take your time and you'll do it when it's right for you. So peace be with each and every one of you as you go about your day today. Thank you for being here. Namaste.